I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. It's something that I cannot help. Okay, but when people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me.
The world knew him as the king of pop, a voice that changed music forever, and a face that became one of the most recognized images on Earth. But behind the legendary performances, another mystery captured global attention. How did Michael Jackson's appearance transform so dramatically over the years? From his childhood days as a young singer in the Jackson 5 to his later years as a global icon, millions wondered what happened behind the changing features of the man they thought they knew. His face became a symbol of fame, controversy, and endless fascination. Chapter 2. Before fame changed everything. Before the world knew Michael Jackson as a global superstar, he was simply a young boy from Gary, Indiana, with an extraordinary voice and a natural appearance that reflected his childhood. Born in 1958, Michael grew up in a large working-class family. Alongside his brothers, he became the youngest member of the Jackson 5, a group that would soon take the music world by storm. During the late 1960s and early 1970s, audiences saw Michael as a bright-eyed child performer, with a round face, a wide smile, and the innocent appearance of a young boy discovering fame. During the Jackson 5 era, there was little discussion about his looks. The focus was on his talent, his incredible dancing ability, emotional singing style, and the energy he brought to the stage. His appearance was simply that of a normal child growing up in front of millions of people. But as Michael entered his teenage years, things began to change. Like many teenagers, he struggled with insecurities about his appearance. He later spoke about suffering from severe acne, which affected his confidence and made him uncomfortable being photographed. The pressure of constantly being in the public eye made these personal struggles even more difficult. Fame had placed Michael under a microscope from a very young age. Every performance, every interview, and eventually every change in his appearance became something the world watched closely. The young boy who once stood beside his brothers on television stages was slowly becoming a solo artist, preparing to redefine popular music. But as his career grew, so did the attention surrounding his face, an attention that would follow him for the rest of his life. Chapter 3. The First Nose Surgery. By the end of the 1970s, Michael Jackson was no longer only the young singer from the Jackson 5. He was becoming a solo artist with a growing identity of his own. But during this period, one event would become the beginning of the public discussion surrounding his changing appearance. In 1979, while preparing for a dance routine, Michael reportedly suffered a rehearsal accident that injured his nose. He later explained that the injury created breathing problems and affected his ability to perform comfortably. According to Jackson, the procedure that followed was not originally about changing his appearance, but about improving his breathing. The surgery became the first publicly known alteration to his face. At the time, few people paid attention because Jackson's career was entering a new and exciting phase. His album Off the Wall was becoming a major success, and the world was beginning to recognize him as a powerful solo performer. However, years later, this first procedure became an important point in discussions about how his appearance evolved. Some observers believed the surgery was mainly functional, while others argued that it also began a pattern of cosmetic changes. Jackson himself often separated medical reasons from cosmetic decisions. He acknowledged having some procedures, but rejected many of the rumors that surrounded him. He insisted that his goal was never to completely change who he was. The late 1970s and early 1980s were a turning point in Michael Jackson's life. His music was reaching new heights, but alongside his success came increasing attention toward his personal image. As his fame expanded, even small changes became highly visible. The world was beginning to watch not only what Michael Jackson created on stage, but also how he looked away from it. Chapter 4. More changes through the 1980s. The 1980s transformed Michael Jackson from a successful singer into one of the biggest cultural figures in the world. With the release of Thriller in 1982, he reached a level of fame that few artists had ever experienced. But while audiences were amazed by his music, dancing, and performances, many people also began noticing changes in his appearance. During this decade, Jackson's facial features appeared different compared with his early years. His nose became narrower and more refined, leading many observers to believe he had undergone additional procedures. Jackson publicly acknowledged having more than one nose surgery, explaining that some were connected to breathing issues, while others were personal choices. Another procedure he admitted to was a chin operation. He revealed that he had a cleft chin created through surgery, a decision that was much less controversial compared with the intense speculation surrounding his nose. However, as his fame increased, so did public curiosity. Newspapers, magazines, and television programs began focusing heavily on his appearance. Every public appearance created new discussions about whether his face was changing and why. The media attention became almost as famous as Jackson himself. Instead of only discussing his groundbreaking music videos, record-breaking albums, and legendary performances, many reports focused on rumors about his surgeries. Some stories exaggerated the number of procedures he had supposedly undergone, creating a gap between reality and public imagination. The pressure of worldwide fame placed Jackson in a unique situation. Unlike most people, every change in his appearance was documented and analyzed by millions. A small difference in photographs could become the subject of international headlines. By the end of the 1980s, Michael Jackson had become more than a musician. He was a global image, a person whose appearance was constantly compared across different stages of his life. But another major factor would soon become part of the conversation: Jackson's changing skin tone. What many people misunderstood as a cosmetic choice was connected to medical conditions that he would later publicly discuss. These conditions added another layer to the mystery surrounding his appearance. Chapter 5: Vitiligo, Lupus, and the Rumors. While discussions about Michael Jackson's appearance often focused on surgery, another major factor played a significant role in how he looked over the years: his health. In the early 1990s, Jackson publicly revealed that he suffered from vitiligo, a skin condition that causes patches of skin to lose their natural pigment. The condition can affect people differently, and in Jackson's case, it reportedly caused uneven areas of lighter skin across his body. For years, many people questioned why Jackson's skin appeared much lighter compared with his childhood photographs. Some critics believed he was intentionally trying to change his race, but Jackson repeatedly denied this. He explained that his changing skin tone was the result of a medical condition, not a personal desire to alter his identity. Jackson also stated that he had lupus, an autoimmune disease that can affect different parts of the body, including the skin. Medical experts have noted that lupus and vitiligo can both have visible effects, although the exact impact on an individual can vary. As his skin condition became more noticeable, Jackson used makeup and other treatments to create a more even appearance. This was often misunderstood by the public. Many people confused medical management of his condition with cosmetic changes, creating more rumors around his appearance. Photographs from different periods of Jackson's life show dramatic differences, but photographs alone cannot reveal the complete story. Lighting, makeup, camera technology, and health conditions all influenced how he appeared to the world. The media often presented Jackson's appearance as a mystery, but behind the headlines were complex personal and medical realities. A person dealing with a visible condition while living under constant public attention faced challenges that few people could understand. The difference between medical treatment and cosmetic surgery became an important part of the conversation. While Jackson did make some acknowledged cosmetic choices, such as nose procedures and a chin operation, not every change people noticed was the result of surgery. His changing appearance became one of the most discussed topics in entertainment history. But separating facts from speculation proved difficult because Michael Jackson's life existed under a level of attention rarely experienced by any other performer. As questions continued, many people turned to medical professionals and experts, hoping to understand what could actually be determined about the changes in his face, and what would remain impossible to know. Chapter 6: What Doctors Believe. For decades, Michael Jackson's changing appearance became a subject of discussion among fans, journalists, and medical professionals. Many people tried to understand exactly how much of his transformation came from surgery, medical conditions, aging, makeup, or other factors. Independent plastic surgeons who examined photographs of Jackson over the years have often suggested that he likely underwent multiple cosmetic procedures. Many experts pointed to changes in the shape of his nose as evidence of repeated rhinoplasty procedures. Some also suggested possible changes around his cheeks, lips, and facial structure, although these conclusions were based only on photographs and not on complete medical records. Doctors have repeatedly explained that photographs can be misleading. A person's appearance can change because of lighting, camera angles, weight fluctuations, hairstyle, makeup, aging, and the quality of the image itself. Without direct access to medical records or examinations, experts cannot make completely certain conclusions. This is why estimates about the number of procedures Jackson may have had vary widely. Some observers claimed he had undergone many surgeries, while others believe the changes were fewer but became more noticeable because of his extreme level of fame. Medical professionals also emphasized the importance of separating confirmed facts from speculation. Jackson openly admitted to certain procedures, including nose surgeries and a chin operation. However, many other claims made by tabloids and commentators were never proven. The fascination with Jackson's appearance was also connected to the unusual circumstances of his life. Few people in history experienced the same level of worldwide attention. Every public appearance was photographed, every change was analyzed, and every rumor spread quickly. Experts often noted that Jackson's case was not only about physical changes but also about the psychological pressure of being constantly observed. Growing up in the entertainment industry meant that his appearance became part of his public identity from a very young age. Ultimately, doctors could identify possible changes, but they could not fully explain every difference seen throughout his lifetime. The complete truth behind his appearance remained known only to Jackson himself and the medical professionals who treated him. As public curiosity continued, one of the most important moments came in 1993, when Michael Jackson addressed the rumors directly during a highly watched television interview. Chapter 7: The 1993 Oprah Interview. In 1993, Michael Jackson sat down for one of the most watched interviews of his career with Oprah Winfrey. The conversation gave millions of people a rare opportunity to hear Jackson explain his appearance in his own words. During the interview, Jackson admitted that he had undergone some cosmetic procedures. He acknowledged having surgery on his nose and a chin procedure, but he denied many of the extreme rumors that had circulated about him. He also addressed the changes in his skin color, explaining that he had vitiligo and that his appearance was connected to a medical condition rather than an attempt to change his identity. Jackson expressed frustration that people focused so heavily on his appearance instead of his music and personal struggles. The interview received massive public attention. For many fans, it was the first time they heard Jackson directly discuss the rumors surrounding him. While some accepted his explanations, others remained skeptical, showing how deeply public fascination with his appearance had become. The conversation became a defining moment in the ongoing debate about Michael Jackson's image, a moment where the world heard his side of the story, but where many questions still remained. Chapter 8: The Autopsy and the Final Evidence. After Michael Jackson's sudden death in 2009, the world searched for answers about many aspects of his life, including the questions surrounding his appearance. The official autopsy report provided some information about his physical condition and documented several details that helped separate facts from speculation. The autopsy confirmed the presence of surgical scars on Jackson's body, including scars consistent with cosmetic procedures. These findings supported some of the changes Jackson had openly discussed during his lifetime. The examination also documented cosmetic tattoos used to enhance his appearance. These included tattoos around areas such as his eyebrows and lips, which were designed to create a more defined look. Such cosmetic techniques are common among some performers and public figures who want a consistent appearance under bright stage lighting and cameras. However, the autopsy did not reveal evidence supporting many of the extreme claims that had appeared in tabloids over the years. Many rumors about Jackson's body and alleged procedures were never confirmed. The findings also highlighted the difficulty of understanding a person's appearance simply by looking at photographs. Jackson's transformation was the result of multiple factors, some confirmed, some medical, and some impossible to determine from images alone. His changing appearance had been discussed for decades, but the autopsy showed that the reality was more complicated than many headlines suggested. There were documented procedures, but also years of speculation that went far beyond available evidence. The examination provided a clearer picture, but it did not answer every question people had asked throughout Jackson's career. Some aspects of his choices remained personal matters that only he fully understood. In the end, the story of Michael Jackson's appearance was not only about surgery or physical transformation, it was also about fame, pressure, identity, and the experience of living as one of the most recognizable people on earth. His face became a symbol that the world constantly analyzed, sometimes with facts, sometimes with assumptions, and often without knowing the complete story. Chapter 9: The Legacy of Michael Jackson's Appearance. Michael Jackson's face became one of the most recognizable images in modern history. Long after his music videos, performances, and records changed the entertainment industry, discussions about his appearance continued to remain part of his public story. For many people, Jackson represented the complicated relationship between fame and identity. From the moment he appeared on television as a young member of the Jackson 5, the world watched him grow up in front of millions. Unlike ordinary people, his transformation happened under constant observation. Every hairstyle, every outfit, every change in his features became something the public analyzed. At the beginning of his career, Jackson was seen as a talented young performer with a natural appearance. His childhood image became familiar to millions of fans, but as he entered adulthood and reached unprecedented levels of fame, his appearance began to evolve alongside his artistic identity. The 1980s marked the period when the public became most fascinated with his changing look. While his music was breaking records and his performances were influencing generations of artists, newspapers and magazines increasingly focused on his face. The discussion often became louder than the achievements that made him famous. This obsession revealed something important about celebrity culture. The more famous a person becomes, the more the public feels entitled to examine every part of their life. For Michael Jackson, this meant that personal decisions about his appearance became worldwide conversations. His case was especially unusual because he had grown up in the spotlight. Many people experienced changes in appearance gradually and privately, but Jackson's entire journey was documented through photographs, television appearances, and media coverage. The world saw his childhood, teenage years, adulthood, and later life almost like chapters in a public story. The pressure of maintaining an image at such a massive level cannot be ignored. Performers often face expectations to look a certain way, remain youthful, and create a consistent public identity. For someone like Jackson, whose career depended heavily on visual performance, appearance became closely connected with his work. At the same time, his story also demonstrates the danger of judging a person only by their appearance. For many years, rumors and assumptions surrounded Jackson, often without clear evidence. Some changes were confirmed by Jackson himself, while others remained speculation created by media attention. His health conditions, including vitiligo, added another layer of complexity. The public often misunderstood the reasons behind his changing skin tone, leading to debates that ignored the personal reality of living with a visible medical condition. The fascination with Jackson's appearance also reflected society's broader obsession with beauty, perfection, and transformation. Celebrities are often expected to maintain impossible standards, and any difference from their earlier image can become a source of criticism. Yet, behind the headlines was a human being who spent most of his life performing under intense pressure. Michael Jackson was not only a face seen on magazine covers, he was an artist who created some of the most influential music in history. His appearance became part of his legacy, but it was only one part of a much larger story. The world remembers the moonwalk, the groundbreaking music videos, the unforgettable concerts, and the emotional connection he created with millions of fans. The questions surrounding his face may never completely disappear. Some details are known, some remain uncertain, and some were always private choices that belonged only to him. What remains clear is that Michael Jackson's appearance became a symbol of the complicated relationship between fame and personal identity. His life showed how a person can become so famous that even their physical appearance becomes a global conversation. In the end, the story of Michael Jackson's face is not simply a story about cosmetic procedures or physical change. It is a story about childhood fame, artistic evolution, medical challenges, public pressure, and the price of becoming an icon. The world spent decades asking what changed about Michael Jackson's appearance. But perhaps the deeper question is why his appearance mattered so much. Because beyond the face that millions analyzed was an artist whose influence changed music forever, a performer whose creativity, ambition, and talent made him one of the most unforgettable figures in entertainment history.